Physics. It's one of the most important parts of creating believable worlds. From a simple objects falling on a table to an entire environment collapsing around you. Physics is what turns static models into something that feels alive. Modern DCC software already gives artists incredibly powerful simulation tools. Rigid body, cloth, fluids, particles, basically complex systems capable of creating realistic results. But the simulation itself is rarely the hardest part. The real challenge is interaction. Building a physics-driven scene often means setting up objects, adjusting parameters, baking simulations, waiting for results, then going back and repeating the process after every small change. It works, but sometimes the workflow feels disconnected from the creative process. Look at video games, for example. Game engines approach physics from a different perspective. Instead of preparing every possible interaction beforehand, they allow you to create interactions naturally. Grab it, move it, throw it, break it. Everything reacts immediately. Physics becomes something you experience, not just something you calculate. So why can't Blender feel like this? What if working with physics inside a DCC was as intuitive as interacting with objects in video games? What if creating dynamic scenes was less about waiting for simulation and more about experimenting? And that brings us to this. This is Dynamic Grabber, a tool that brings game engine inspired physics into Blender. So in this video, we're gonna explore its features and see how it can change the way you create physics-based scenes. Let's get into it. First of all, go to the link in the description and get the add-on for yourself. Installing it is just like always. Go to Edit, Preference, Add-on, then from this drop-down, click on Install from Disk and select the Dynamic Grabber file. You just download it and install it. You can now press N to access it from the N panel. There should be a Dynamic Grabber tab on the bottom. I'm going to use it on one of the shelves of supermarket we have made so we can see how well it does in a scene full of random stuff. Let's start gently by grabbing this basket and use the first free feature, Ctrl-Shift-D, which is dynamic drop for automatically drop objects on the surface. Now let's take all of these snacks and use another free tool we have, which is Dynamic Grab, and gently put them into the basket. You can also use it by pressing Ctrl-Shift-G. And another cool thing about it is that you can change the spacing between them by pressing S and control the axis by pressing XYZ. And yeah, it's easy as that. Now let's put them back into the shelves again using, you probably guessed it, Dynamic Grab. Some of these guys fell off, so let's get them out of here. Get out of my face, little bro. Okay, now let's grab these Red Bulls and put them into the other shelves beside it. Look how easy it slides off. You can snap the rotation with Q, by the way. That was super cool, huh? Red Bull, please collab. Anyways, let's mess this place up, because why not? We got the tool. And that brings us to duplicate and drop feature. You just grab objects, then press D and it physically accurately drop it into your scene. It's so freaking satisfying, god damn it. Hoo-wee. I mean, who would have thought you could do this in Blender someday? But it's not over yet. Let's go for my favorite feature of this add-on, the Physic Brush. Or by pressing Ctrl-Shift-C. It's basically the scattering feature, but a lot cooler, and also with freaking physics. You just pick your asset and paint them into your scene, easy as that. Look how fun it is. But notice when I paint on the second floor of the shelf, it still drops the objects on the top floor. All you need to do is to turn on stack mode in the settings of the add-on, and everything will be fixed. Now you can paint wherever you like. Also, you can control drag to paint with any custom shape you want. Also, if you get confused with the shortcuts, they are written on the top of the screen, so you know what to do. Let me see what else we got. Yes, I almost forgot about this absolute banger. You can select the collection and palettes to paint the objects. So let's quickly create a collection of some items and test it out. Let's name it something cool, like test. Oh, stop it. I know I'm pretty good at naming things. No need to mention it. Then drag it to collection section. But it's so uniform and samey. Well, thank God we got the scale variation option. There's a ton of other options, but covering all of them makes this video longer than Odyssey. So instead, I'm covering ones I use for creating the intro you watched. And as you can see, we got the scale variation around something like 0 to 46% of the original size of our selected objects. Easy peasy. We also got things like ignore physics, because I always get ignored. So why shouldn't you get ignored, cute little teddy bear? Just click the ignore on the first one, and as you can see, he sits there dead inside, just like me when I was 16. And if I select the include option, this cute little bear comes back to life. Now get the hell out of my face. Well, that was an emotional section, I'm sorry. So, let's go for floating and water feature. If you have a water shader, or just use the default preset of the add-on with present setup water. And believe me, this section alone requires another standalone video. Honestly, it surprises me the quality of water simulation here in real time. So I'm gonna leave it to you to explore on your own and make cool stuff with it. Okay, I'm tired of this scene. Let's sync it. I don't want to see it anymore. Oh, And for the last part, if you want to know how I made this can splash, it was super easy. All I did was just enabling record keyframes, and the add-on automatically records the movements. Just like that. Easy peasy. For setting up the scene, I just used 2 planes and a cube for isolating the HDRI light, then added these shells from Sketchfab. For lighting, I used complementary colors, with yellow and blue to make it feel like backgrounds. When the camera and the scene atmosphere was ready, I just filled it up with groceries, like snacks and fruits and all the stuff you see. I used physical brush and stack mode for filling the shells, otherwise it would take me years to manually put them together. For the fog, I used Alt-Tab Easy Fog add-on. It's fast and have lots of presets and adjustments. I also have a tutorial for making fog manually if you want to check it out. Then in the animation part, I didn't do anything special. Just move the cart a little bit, then open and slam the refrigerator door with vector keyframing. If you notice, when the door slams, the light flickers. I did that with manually keyframing the emission parameter with 0 and 1 for main lights of the scene. The important parts here is to know which frame to animate. And lastly, for color grading and sound design, I used Premiere to finish the render. So yeah, that was it. Be sure to get the add-on from the link in the description if you haven't done already. Also, you can check out my Gumroad to download lots of other stuff like Haircard Studio, where you can make customized game-ready haircards in only few seconds. It basically has everything from spread to thickness and height, or effects like curl and frizzy hair. And at the end, you'll have a rendered hair card ready to be used. Or you can get EyeForge, which I recently updated it to version 2.0. With this tool, you can easily make your customized eyes with only few clicks. Switch between stylized, realistic, anime, change the eye color, pupil shape, and a lot of other things. It has all the baking and export features with different poly count, so you can use it for any purpose you want. There's also a lot of real-time tutorials and process videos on my Gumroad. All of the links are down in the description. Check them out if you're interested. See you on the next one. Peace.